so I'm going to hit record. Okay, here we are. It looks like everything is working. We're talking about golden letters today, okay? And so basically the concept of the golden letter is a letter that is asking people if they would consider selling their house, okay? Like at any given time, 5 to 7% of the population is thinking about selling, okay? Sometimes their agent contacts them and they decide that they want to sell. Sometimes they're waiting for the right moment. Sometimes they don't know if it's the right moment. And there's lots of reasons why people don't actually take the first step. So our job is to try and find a little nudge to get them to do that, okay? So here's the basic concept of this. Like this only really works well if you do it in combination of a couple different things that you're going to do, okay? Like the reason why I have the map up here on the screen is because the important thing is you want to decide a place to plant your flag, okay? And you know that area is probably going to be somewhere, you know, in the neighborhood of 500 to 1,500 houses. It can be more, but it depends what your budget is. Like I know people that send out 5,000 letters a week. But what I will tell you is it's a lot more effective for you to send out 100 letters a week than it is to send out 5,000 letters one time. Okay? So the important thing is you find a place. That place should be representative of the business that you do. Like, so if you're, you know, for example, if you have a certain price range that you know really well, or a certain neighborhood, or a certain, you know, area on the map that you know really well, that's the most important thing, is that you work that area. Or if you want to try and get into an area, then you could do that. It might take you a little bit longer. The second most important thing about this, although you don't have to do this, but this works a lot better, is if you are willing to do open houses, okay? And so it would certainly be helpful if you already have listings in an area that you're going to be doing business, but it's not, you don't have to, okay? Like you could do somebody else's open house. If you decide like you love Sloan's Lake and you want to do Sloan's Lake area, then great. Then find some open house opportunities, okay? So you pick the area, you make the decision where you want to work this whole system, and like I said, it depends on what your budget is, but the target number is 100 letters a week, okay? So here's what we're going to do. All we're going to do is you're going to get a list of the addresses. Lots of different places you could do that. There's places you can buy lists online. You can go to a title company. Whatever it is, you get the name, address, phone number of the person, and then you're going to turn that information, or if you can get it from the source, put it into an Excel format. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a simple mail merge. Now there's lots of programs where you could do that. You can do that online. Personally, there's nothing wrong with using Microsoft Word. It's actually a pretty easy process that you go through and do that. So this is what the letter looks like. Your name at the top, Realtor, Keller Williams Downtown Realty. Dear, first name, that's where the mail merge comes in. Would you be interested in selling your home at the address to a client of mine? If so, please call me at phone number, your phone number, thank you, and then your name. No logo, no extravagant language, that's it, on a plain piece of paper. Okay? Very simple. Everybody understand that?
Are you signing it as an agent?
You can sign them if you want to, but there's no reason to sign them. I'm telling you, the ambiguity and the simplicity of this is why this works. Okay?
So don't sign it.
It's up to you. You don't have to. That's the only thing that I would probably say. If you want to sign it, sign it. Whatever. Okay? So then you're gonna merge, do the mail merge. And like I said, if you don't know how to do a mail merge on Microsoft Word, then it's really easy just to Google how do you do a mail merge on Microsoft Word. Okay? And then you print the letters on a plain piece of paper, no letterhead. I can't stress that enough. People who have done, you want to sit over there, grab a seat. If you deviate from this, you won't get the same results. Okay? There's nothing, this is like literally, if you have a client and they're like, well, I want to live in Sloan's Lake, but there's nothing in the market, and you just want to get a letter out and say, you know, I have a client, would you be interested in selling your home? Okay? Don't overthink this part. Okay? It's very simple. Literally takes you 5 minutes to put this together and print them out, and then you print out the envelopes with the same addresses, and then you stuff the envelopes. And then you put the stamps on them. And then you put them in the mail. Now, there are programs that you could use, for example, this company, if you don't want to do the work yourself, you can provide the letter template, and you can provide the addresses, and you can pay them to do the same thing. It's not really that expensive, but I would only really recommend this if you're doing like 1,000 letters a week, because it is more expensive. And like, you know, find your kids or your spouse or somebody to stuff 100 envelopes a week with you.
Are you
And put stamps on.
handwriting the address on the envelope?
Okay, good question.
Yes.
So there's no difference between the results of handwriting it versus printing it.
Oh,
Okay?
Nice.
So we haven't found anything that leads us to believe that if you handwrite it, that it's getting open more. What I would do is if you want, you don't have to, because like if you get a return address, like what are you really going to do with the letter anyway? You're just going to throw it away. You can put your return address on the letter if you want, but you don't need to. You know, you're really just, all you're doing is wasting, you know, 30 some cents. How much is a stamp now? 40 cents?
50?
Is it 50? I don't even know what a stamp costs anymore.
I think it's like,
But the whole point is like you're not going to do anything if the letter comes back, and so it doesn't really matter, you know. Like, but if you want to put your return address on there, you can. I probably would maybe stay away from the idea of putting your name on there, but you can if you want. I mean, it's not vital. It's an address and a stamp, plain white envelope, plain white piece of paper. Okay, very simple.
Says stamps are 78 cents.
Nuh-uh.
Says.
Are you serious?
I think so. It's really high.
Well, 500 stamps was $390, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's probably about right.
I can't do that math, but I trust you.
Okay. Yeah.
It's too much.
So you mail them. Now the key to this is the part that why this works is the open house part. Because ultimately you're going to get some people that call you and say, you know, I'm interested, tell me about your client. Now, we're going to talk about that phone call in a second, but let me set this up for you. If you're doing open houses where you have people come into the open house and say, I'm interested in buying a house in this area, then you can say, hey, I have a list of houses that are off the market right now that are not listed that I could show you. Would you be interested in that? And so then you can get the buyers from the open houses to sign a buyer agency to show the properties that you know about because of this system. And then you go to the listing, potential listing, of the address of the people that reply to this, and you say, I have a list of 20 buyers that I know of that are looking in this area right now. Okay? Would you be open to paying me to have one of those buyers come and look at your house if they want to buy it? We get that?
Yep.
Now, if a buyer, let's say you only have one. If you go show it, and the person basically says, I don't like it, then you go back and you revisit the conversation of, hey, this buyer didn't like the property, or you wouldn't say that. The buyer moved on to a different property, okay? But I think I can get your house sold. Would you be open to me having a conversation with you about listing your house? Now, let me say this really quick. This is very much a soft sell. This is not a, I'm going to go there, I'm going to meet with the guy, I'm going to tell him why you should list with me. This is, when you get the first call, when somebody calls you, the first thing I would do, if I were you, is when you get that first call from somebody from one of these letters, no matter what you're doing, say, I'm with a client right now, can I call you back? Okay? Because what's important is that you prepare yourself for the call. So when they call you, get their name, phone number, and then schedule a time to call them back. Say, I'll call you back at 3 o'clock. okay? Whenever you can sit down in front of your computer so you know what you're looking at. So then when you have the name, you go back and you revisit your list of your data that you have of the houses that you just mailed to, find out what the house is, where it is, how much it's worth, blah, 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 everything, whether it's listed with another agent, you know, all the stuff that you need to know before you prepare for that call. Okay? Now, if you do open houses before you send these letters out, which is what I recommend you do, okay, then you call this person back and you say, hey, I'm so glad you called. Okay, tell me a little bit about your house. And you're having that conversation. Now, what do you think they're going to say almost every single time?
Do you have a buyer?
Thank you. Do you have a buyer? Okay. Now, if you've done open houses, you could say, I have a list of buyers that are looking in this neighborhood. Like, there's this 24-year-old kid, basically over there at the West office. One wrinkle that he put into this is he called a top agent in Arvada and basically said, hey, I potentially have an opportunity to show your clients this house. Do you have anybody who's in the market for, you wouldn't give the address, and say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Old Arvada that's somewhere around $500,000. Do you have anybody right now that you're working with would be interested? And this agent said, I have about 30 people that are looking for that. So the key is whether you have somebody or not, somebody has somebody. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So if you don't have any buyers in that area right now, then it's basically call some agents and say, do you have anybody that's looking? Now that conversation is a little different with the potential seller, obviously, because what you want to do the first appointment, the first phone call is you want to get an opportunity to go look at the property. So the language is something along the lines of, hey, listen, this is what I'd like to do. No matter what they say, do you have a buyer, blah, 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 whatever they say, I'd love to come and visit your property to see if it would meet my buyer's needs.
Can you say that again?
I'd love to come look at your property to see if it would meet my buyer's needs. Do you have time available tomorrow at 5 o'clock to meet so I can quickly walk through your home? You look puzzled.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
That's not wrong.
I always look like that. I am puzzled. I'll be
Sorry,
okay.
Pete.
No,
I say that.
it's
I'm
true.
sorry.
Probably obvious.
Okay.
Just thinking, Pete.
But like I said, if you've done open houses, you have a list of buyers, okay? And so you basically go look at the house, and when you go to look at the house, you're not trying to list it. All you're trying to get them to do is allow you to bring somebody back to have that conversation. Say, if I were to bring somebody back here, would you be open to letting me represent that buyer to purchase your house? And hopefully they would say yes. Okay?
So if I bring someone back here, would you be open
To allowing me to represent that buyer if they were interested in purchasing your home. And they're going to say, well, what are you going to charge me? Right? Okay. Now, first of all, disclaimer, I can't tell you what to charge for commission. Okay? So what you would say, your response would be somewhere along the lines of, typically, when I represent my client, my commission is blank, and it's paid for by the seller. But as you're probably aware, that is negotiable. Okay? Now, that gets the legal part out of the way. So now you've got this property that potentially could be bought by one of the buyers that you met at an open house, or that you talk to, you could even talk to each other. Say, does anybody have one of these? Does anybody have a buyer in this area? And so then it comes down to two choices. You bring the buyer back, show them the property, hopefully write a contract. Okay? If you don't have somebody, you can't find anybody to show the property to, then your conversation with the potential seller is, our buyer has moved on to another property. But I think your property is great, and I feel like I could do a good job of getting your home sold. Would you be open to having a conversation with me about representing you as a listing agent? Yeah.
What if that top agent in the area does have buyers who are interested? How do you wiggle that in?
Okay. If that happens, then you gotta call the potential seller back and say, hey, great news. I do have somebody who wants to look at it, but they're represented by another agent. Would you be open to me representing you as a seller? And you know what's gonna come next. What are you gonna charge me? Okay? Because you could always sign a listing contract for one showing, you guys. You know, you don't have to do a 6-month listing. You could say, I'll tell you what, here's what we'll do for me to prove myself. Let's do a listing contract for one day or one showing, and I'll bring this person by, and they'll look at your property, and we'll see what happens. And you know, you probably have to do like some sort of holdover. I mean, you guys can write up a contract that's gonna say, I can show it to this one person, and you know how that works, okay? Okay. So then, if you want to try and get the listing, then it's basically you go out and you do your whole listing presentation or listing process, whatever you want to call it. The whole key to this is to get you guys in the door and start having conversations. If you send out 100 a week, you should get at least one person that you can connect with. Okay, depending on the area, depending on, like I think it really helps a lot if you are doing the open house thing because they'll see your signs. But if you can get 4 more listing appointments a month or 4 more conversations with real sellers a month, plus you go into the open houses and you're also, you get that list of people who you can say, hey, listen, I know of a bunch of off-market properties right now in the area. Are you interested in seeing off-market properties? Yes, great. Here's what we need to do. We need to sign a buyer agency so I'm allowed to show you those properties. Okay, yeah.
So if we're doing, say, 500 homes in an area, sending 100 letters, are we getting like once a month these people?
Okay, great question. You can take that approach. If I were you, what I would probably do is mail to more homes and less frequently.
Right.
Okay, so I would go 1,000 and mail like every 2.5 months or every once a quarter.
Okay.
To the same people.
Okay.
Yeah, because think about it. Like if there's 1,000 homes, 5 to 7% are thinking about listing their house right now. So that's 50 to 70 houses in 1,000 homes that are interested in or thinking about selling their house. And they're waiting for somebody to contact them. And their mindset is, I'm going to save money because this agent is calling me about buyers that they have. And so I don't have to hire a listing agent because they're going to bring buyers, right? Okay, so 50 to 70. If you have 50 to 70 people that you potentially can talk to, once a quarter, you're going to get some deals out of this, you guys. Trust me, like the people over there, like this young guy I keep referring to, like he's 24 and he's brand new. And he told me that his last mailing he actually got, and he's only doing, I think he's doing more than 100, but he's not doing more than 500 a week, okay? And he told me that he got 5 listing appointments last week from doing this, or 5 appointments from doing this, okay? And that doesn't even take into account the buyers that he can pick up because he's saying, I know of all these off-market properties. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what questions you guys have so far?
Are there any like certain criteria that we might want to look at, such as like when they've bought or equity or any other demographic information or just?
Nutrition.
You can take that into account. But you guys got to remember that those numbers change yearly. They change all the time.
Yeah.
Like one neighborhood will be really hot and then it will really be not, And so I don't know that that plays into it, but I would probably look for a neighborhood where there's decent turnover. So, you know, if you look at a neighborhood and you pull 1,000 homes and you see that there's 50 to 750 that get listed in 1,000 home range, that's probably a pretty good place to start. If it's better than that, I would jump on it. Okay. You know, if you're in a 1,000 home neighborhood and there's only 10 to 20, I'd probably lay off that. But at the same time, you never know when the neighborhood's going to pick up.
And is it homes listed or homes sold?
I would probably do listed.
Okay.
Because like right now, you know, what I'm seeing is somewhere around 60 to 70% of the homes listed are actually selling. So why is that happening?
50 to 60?
Yeah, we don't know how to price it, right? That's the key, is like we literally need to work on pricing, you know, and pricing conversations. Like if it's priced right, somebody will buy it, right? And the key is that conversation of getting it priced right. And sometimes that's hard. You know, at the end of the day, like sometimes people are very proud of their home, and so if they're proud of their home, they think it's better than the neighbor's house that sold for this, and you know, you guys know how that goes. But you know, right now we're in this market, right? Because of seasonality. And starting in June, we'll be in this market because of seasonality. And so keep in mind, anybody that you guys contacted this month, I mean, they're right on that border because that's closed date. So anything that closes in June is the last time you're probably going to see increases in prices after closings in June. It's going down. So if you list in May, well, if you list in June, then you're probably trailing the market at that point.
So in 1,000 homes, you're looking for 50 active?
50 listed in a 12-month period.
Oh, listed in 12-month period.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can Rocky Mountain Title pull the addresses?
I'm sure they could, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they have that, I can't remember the name of the system, but it can get you lists. So Rocky Mountain Title can do it, any title company can do it. There's also services online that can do it. You know, find your service, and then if you don't want to use Microsoft Word, there's you know 100 different ones online that you could use too. There's lots of different ways to do it. The key is that simplicity, merge, plain envelope, stamp, actual stamp on it. And you know what we used to do over there is we used to do Google Voice numbers, so we knew like what was coming in. Because like what you got to understand is like there's also a benefit to not responding right away. Okay, so if you guys get those calls, don't take that call, no matter how excited you are. Don't take that call right then and there. Call them back.
So if Google Voice, you can tell it's what that is.
Yeah, so then you basically call them back, but most of the people over there abandon that, you know, and because it really didn't have any effect. And I think that's just an additional cost, an additional system. But if you want to like, you know, sometimes what happens is people will call and they won't leave a message. And so what they were doing over there is if it was on Google Voice, then they basically would look at their Google, like you go online and you can see all the numbers that called you. And so then they were basically calling people back that didn't leave messages. Because the only place that this number is available is your letter. So there is kind of a benefit to that, but at the same time, I don't think it's necessary that you do that. But it's kind of a neat system so you can track like how many people are contacting you. Because I don't know about you, but I get a lot of telemarketer calls from, evidently I applied for a loan. Anybody get those calls? Yeah.
Oh my god. You get like 8 of them a day.
I know.
Like,
Good
how many
news.
loans did I apply for?
You've actually been approved. I'm like, okay. Does anybody ever talk to one of those people actually call? Yeah, what do they say?
They say just, what did he say? He said, answer the phone call and hang up, and then we'll delete you from this. I was like, all right, cool. And
Yeah.
he's like, just, you know, don't ignore it, because if you ignore it, it goes to voicemail, and then they'll keep you in the system. So answer the phone call, hang up, and after you do it like 2 or 3 times, they'll just delete you out their system. I wonder how many systems they got going
Interesting. I keep blocking the numbers and like, they just call from another number.
That's why you said
Yeah,
not to
that's
block them.
Huh.
It's endless.
Sometimes I just answer to like kind of play around with them.
I do
Like,
that.
yeah,
And see how they,
yeah,
what
how
they-
they sales, you know,
Yeah.
and it's fun sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Any other thoughts? Like I said, it's not vital that you do open houses, but it really does help because they are connected, okay? And if you already have a farm area, do it in that area. You know, like if you, I would probably do it somewhere close to your house or somewhere that you want to live, some area you want to live in, you know? And so it's a very simple system, but the results they're getting, I mean, it's been phenomenal. And then once you get somebody in your system, like we played around with the idea of putting everybody in command from the start and didn't really work very well that way. So I would wait till you get calls and then add them to your command database and tag them, whatever you want to call this system, golden letter or whatever, so that way you can keep track of them and then you can continue to market to these people. Okay? All right, any other thoughts, questions?
If nobody else has questions or thoughts, could I see what you guys were looking at since I got here a little late? Just want to jot all that down.
Now, in the, I don't know what they call those parentheses kind of things.
Yep.
That's a mail merge. Okay, so like you could do a mail merge off of Microsoft Word. It actually walks you through it. Okay, it's in the toolbar. It's under mailings. You'll see here. Okay, and then you click on Start Mail Merge, and then it basically walks you through it. Or you can go online and there's instructions on how to do it on Microsoft Word. Or you could pay a service to do it. Or, you know, you can find another program. I mean, I think all of like the Word type programs do it.
I think Google does too.
Google does it. Google Docs. Yeah, I bet
it
Google
does.
Docs does.
Yeah.
That might be a good source too.
Doesn't James Shaw have like that URL, like what is the goldenletter.com?
Yeah, you can go on his, he's got a video,
And that Will Van Winkler too.
but I literally just summarized his video
Okay.
for you in a lot less words. Okay? But Robert, the whole point of this is the simplicity. No logo, nothing else, no explanation. Like I know in the past we used to write letters that would be like, oh, I have this lovely couple from Florida and they have 3 kids and 2 dogs and you know, they're just trying to find a beautiful house and it doesn't work. Okay? And then when you get the call, don't take the call immediately. Call them back and get yourself prepared. Sit in front of your computer, pull up the address so you know what you're looking at, and then have the conversation. The whole point is, do you mind if I come to your home, meet you at your home, and walk through really quick so I can see if your home meets my client's needs? Okay? And then when you get there, it's, would you be open to me bringing a buyer that I have back and representing that buyer if they like your house? And you don't even have to like address the commission. They'll ask you, what are you going to charge me? Every time. Okay? And if they say no, then you have a choice. You can choose from there. You know, but you still could call them back and say, hey, listen, our buyer moved on, but I really like your home. I'd like the opportunity to come and talk to you about that. Would you be open to me representing you and selling your home? Okay. And if they say no, stay in contact with them. You know, you can call them again and say, hey, I have another buyer. Are you interested in letting me walk this buyer through? Okay. And then of course at the open houses, it's, I know about properties that are for sale in this neighborhood that are not on the market. In order for me to show you those properties, I need to have you sign a buyer agency. Do you have an agent right now? They almost always say what?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Great. What's the agent's name? I can call that agent and tell them about the property. Oh, you don't have a buyer or you don't have an agent? Okay. Well then, if you want to see these properties, then sign a buyer agency. Okay. What do you guys think?
Excited.
Think it'll work?
Like it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try it.
I mean, you got nothing to lose. Honestly, like 50, I mean, I'm paying for your first 50, right? Right here, stamps. I think the problem is these are in books of 20, so you guys are gonna have to split them up, okay? And so you can take your stamps. So all it costs you is a few envelopes and a few letters and a little bit of time, okay? How many are in there?
6.
They're in the back too.
We're on the back.
20? He told me they were 20 each, but,
Yes, 20.
okay,
I'm okay with it.
yeah. And if we need more, I'll go buy some more. Like, I just went to King Supers and I cleaned them out, so.
Thank you.
So, you know, here's the deal. Like, just try it for 4 weeks. Okay? And I promise you, if you work the system, you'll have a bunch of business from it, a bunch of potential. And like like one of my goals this year in this office is to increase the amount of listings that we take. Okay? Like right now, we're a little bit buyer heavy. I think we're about 2/3 buyers and 1/3 listings. And we want to get that turned around to at least closer to 50-50. So I'm going to be focusing on different ways to get you guys more listings, like stuff like this. And, you know, so 100 letters a week, what do we say it was 78 cents? Okay, so that's 78 bucks. It's going to cost you a week. And so try that and do that. And then if you have the budget, then spend more. If you only have the budget for 50, then do 50. It's better than not doing any. There's guys over there that do 25 a week, and they still are getting appointments doing this. And there's guys over there doing, you know, 1,000 a week, and they're getting more appointments. It's a numbers game and it's math, and it works. Okay?
So you said 100 a week, and then to the same houses every week?
No.
To
You're
different
doing
houses?
100 different ones in your area that you pick.
Okay.
Okay? So pick 1,000 home area and do 100 a week, okay, every week. And then after you get done with 1,000, then go back to the first 100. Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts, questions? Anybody want to play devil's advocate and say it won't work?
No, I love it.
You will.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I ordered a couple pizzas.
Oh, I see them. I smelled them a mile away.
That same radar that I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good timing.
That was a great time.
Okay, so feel free to have a slice of pizza or two, and then, you know, get to work on this. And if you guys have questions, I'll hang out here with you guys, and, you know, we can just talk about business if you like. So,
Will you send us a recording as well?
yes.
So as far as like getting addresses and stuff, you said connect with the title company.
Title company, there's services online. Like one of the things that our company actually is in the process of rolling out. Has anybody ever worked with CoreLogic before?
Isn't it owned by the investor that partnered with KW?
Yeah, it's now called Cotality. Okay, it used to be called CoreLogic, and what CoreLogic is, it's a service that basically has accumulated millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of like pieces of data about property. So you could go in there through command. It's going to be connected to command, and basically say, I want to know who lives in every house on this block in Sloan's Lake. And through Cotality, it'll go pull that information, property owner, purchase date, value of the home, mortgage, like email addresses associated with that home, phone numbers associated with that home, like everything that you want to know.
Will it
About
have
that home.
it closed like FHA or conventional
Yep.
or VA?
Every data piece, it's like the largest provider of data for the real estate industry in the world. So they have everything, okay? And so they're in the process of connecting that to command. So eventually you won't have to get that list from a title company or somebody else. And like I think Cotality costs, I mean, it's expensive to get it on its own, but it'll be given to us, okay? Which is really cool, because one of the other things that they're gonna do, which they're setting up, is they're going to, like you could take your command database, and what the research found was that only 37% of our database, like contacts, have 100% of the information that you should have. So it'll take your database, cross-reference it with Totality, and pull in things like loan, purchase date of the home, other property that they own, anything of record that's out there, other email addresses associated with the people that live in the home. I mean, it's pretty slick. And so the goal of that is just to have your databases like completely filled out as much as possible. Okay? It's like if you Googled yourself online, there's a ton of information out there. Yeah, I mean, Brian Smith, I mean, you'd never find me. But if you have like a name not as normal as Brian Smith, then, you know, your name has tons of data that's associated with it from all the things that you guys have signed up for, okay? And like age things and cars and like all loans and things that you guys have gotten over the years. And so there's a ton more information that we can get that we don't have right now, that Totality will help us get. Okay? All right, any other thoughts, questions? Do me a favor, report back to me how this goes. And so what I would probably do if I were you guys is I would maybe pick your area, see if you could do an open house this weekend or next weekend at the latest, then mail your letters, okay? And then do another open house, mail your letters, mail your letters, mail your letters, another open house, mail your letters, mail your letters, okay? And another pro tip, if you're really busy, like some of us here, okay? You could also get another agent that you're working with to do open house for you. Get one of our young agents in here that doesn't have any business and have them do an open house and get the names and phone numbers, email addresses of those people that come in, and then work with that person to bring those people to show these properties. That's also what some of the people over there do. Because that was one of the barriers for some of these people, which was, I don't want to do any open houses. Okay, great. There's a workaround on that. Okay?
Can I propose another class?
Sure.
Not for me, but for other people. Around the printer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
For
we
sure.
could be like like experts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I can't.
Cause some people can't figure it out, but
The printer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
It did until it didn't.
Did you guys?
you know, other people, other agents.